Imagine stepping way back in time. I mean, long before places like Oxford or Harvard were even thought of.
Right.
Think about Europe, sort of emerging from the Dark Ages. But halfway across the world, in Bihar, India, there was this incredible global center of learning already thriving. Nalanda. And it wasn't just, a university. Sources call it a civilization of ideas, a real beacon of wisdom, a symbol of India's intellectual power.
Absolutely.
But then the tragedy. It was burned down, just ashes.
And countless irreplaceable pieces of human knowledge. Gone. Forever.
And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We want to explore what made Nalanda so special.
Right.
Why its destruction was such a catastrophic blow to knowledge, probably one of the worst in history. And, what its legacy really means for us now.
What makes you wonder?
How do you even start to calculate that loss? Centuries of wisdom just vanished.
To really get it, we need to go back to the beginning. Its foundation.
This was the 5th century CE, right in the middle of India's golden age, the Gupta Empire.
That's right, a period of incredible flourishing.
And the name itself, Nalanda, from Sanskrit Nalanda. It apparently means something like no stopping of the gift of knowledge.
A beautiful sentiment, isn't it?
It really is. How did it live up to that name, though, in practice?
Oh, it absolutely did. With huge royal support, Nalanda grew into this enormous residential university complex.
Enormous.
We're talking 9-story libraries, according to some accounts, over 10,000 students living there, more than 2,000 teachers and monks.
10,000 students in the 5th century.
Exactly. Full-on campus life. Dorms, lecture halls, gardens, temples. It effectively became the world's first truly international university. Just imagine that back then.
A global hub. A real magnet. The sources use that phrase, magnetic pole.
Yeah.
You had students, scholars making these epic journeys from China, Tibet, Korea, Sri Lanka, Japan, even Persia.
All drawn there. The reputation must have been immense.
Can you picture the mix of ideas, the debates, the sheer diversity of thought in one place?
It's incredible to think about, and that global mix likely shaped what was taught.
Which was?
Oh, incredibly broad. Buddhist philosophy, of course, but also mathematics, logic, grammar, medicine, astronomy, astrology, metaphysics, linguistics.
Wow, quite the range.
But the library, Dharmaganja, that was legendary.
Dharmaganja. Tell me about that.
It wasn't just one building. It was 3 massive structures. Ratnasagar, the Ocean of Jewels.
Ocean of Jewels.
Ratnadati, the Sea of Jewels. And Ratnaranjaka, the Delighter of Jewels.
Lovely names.
And some accounts say they were 9 stories high. Just packed, floor to ceiling with millions of manuscripts, palm leaf texts, birch bark scrolls. A treasure trove.
It really does sound like a wonder of the ancient world. And the people there, the minds.
Exactly.
You have Xuanzang, or Hinsang, the Chinese monk. He studied there for years, right, and wrote about it.
Yes, his accounts are invaluable. He studied under Shilabhadra, a towering figure in Buddhist logic.
And logic back then wasn't just abstract puzzles. It was deep epistemology, understanding reality.
Precisely. And then there's Aryabhata, the mathematician.
Ah, yes. Zero, place value, fundamental stuff. Was he directly at Nalanda?
Well, the association is strong. He was certainly part of that vibrant intellectual circle connected to Nalanda.
And others too, like Dharmapala, Dignaga.
Key figures. Their work spread Buddhist thought across East and Southeast Asia for centuries. They really shaped intellectual history.
So Nalanda wasn't just storing knowledge. It was actively creating and shaping it on a global scale.
Absolutely. A pioneering model, really. A place where different fields met and sparked new ideas. A kind of global brain trust.
Then came the fall. Such a bright light. And then darkness.
Yeah.
The sources point to a specific year, 1193 CE.
A devastating turning point.
And a specific person, Bakhtiyar Khilji, a Turkic general, part of the Delhi Sultanate.
And the story behind his motivation is just chilling.
What do the accounts say?
Well, the story goes that he was told he couldn't truly conquer India without destroying its brains, its centers of knowledge.
Destroy the knowledge centers.
So he arrives in Bihar, sees Nalanda, these massive library buildings, and apparently out of ignorance, maybe fear, he thinks they're dens of sorcery or something like that. What followed was just horrific, an unimaginable act of destruction. He ordered the entire place to be set on fire.
The whole university.
The whole university. And the library, Dharmaganja, with its millions of texts, it reportedly burned for months. Months. The sheer volume. And thousands of monks, scholars, They were massacred, the buildings razed. It effectively snuffed out the light of Indian education at that time. It's just brutal to contemplate.
It feels impossible to measure the loss.
It really is.
We're not just talking buildings. We're talking centuries of scientific discoveries, philosophical insights, medical knowledge. Gone.
Thousands of unique texts, commentaries that exist nowhere else.
Entire schools of thought, maybe things we don't even know we lost, just wiped out. Beyond the manuscripts, what else did that destruction signify? What were the ripple effects?
Well, putting it in the larger historical picture, many scholars see it as the final blow, the end of India's era as sort of the global educational superpower of the ancient world.
The end of that classical dominance.
Exactly. Nalanda's destruction really marks that transition. Think about it.
Yeah.
We lost specific ways of doing research, unique methods of combining knowledge, this incredible network connecting thinkers across Asia.
A whole intellectual ecosystem gone.
Yeah. It left a huge gap in how global knowledge developed, a void we can still kind of feel today.
It's just overwhelming. But the story doesn't totally end there, does it? There's a sense of resilience.
Thankfully, yes. The ruins of Nalanda are still there. They're actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site now.
So people can visit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Archaeologists, historians, spiritual seekers, they still come. It's a powerful place, even in ruins.
And there's a modern revival.
There is. It's quite fascinating. Starting around 2010, the Indian government, with help from other countries, China, Japan, Singapore, others too.
International collaboration, echoing its past.
Precisely. They launched a project to revive Nalanda University. The vision is for a modern international center for interdisciplinary learning.
Like the old Nalanda.
That's the hope. But, and this is the crucial point, while you can rebuild buildings,
you can't unburn manuscripts.
Exactly. The original texts, the specific voices, the unique ideas from that time, that particular intellectual world, that can't be fully recovered. We can build something new inspired by it, but the original is lost. Nalanda wasn't just, stone and script. It was a living symbol of a whole civilization that put knowledge first.
Valued it above all else.
Yeah. And its destruction teaches a hard lesson, doesn't it? That ignorance often fears wisdom, that attacking knowledge is an attack on humanity itself.
It really is. So the final thought, the takeaway for us listening today.
While the destruction was immense, truly catastrophic.
There's hope in the idea itself.
There is. Ideas, even when you try to burn them, have a way of rising again. Nalanda isn't just a ruin to mourn, it's also a challenge.
A challenge how?
A challenge to us. To try and rebuild what was lost, maybe not literally, but in spirit. To value knowledge, to protect it. And to never, ever let that light of learning go out again makes you think, what does rebuilding what was lost mean for you right here, right now? Something to ponder.